Shares of Caterpillar under pressure after reporting disappointing numbers and rising costs. UPS up with its profit and revenue above expectations. Snap spiking after that blowout quarter. Joining us today to break down a lot of these numbers, our own Bob Pisani. Busiest day so far?
It is, and so it's not the unabashedly great news that we had yesterday. Remember, we care about guidance. Everybody, the Bears are saying, oh, second half guidance is going to be much weaker than expected. So far, it's not materializing. Now, yes, Boeing coming out and saying, oh, we'll tell you what our guidance is going to be later. We don't have it for you. Disappointing, but not a surprise. But that's a very, very specific story. If you look elsewhere, it's really not that bad. So I see Northrop Grumman raised. I see UPS, good interview with the CEO there. They affirmed. That's not bad. Texas Instruments, their new highs all over the place in the semiconductor. The SMH is at new high. The Q3 guidance was above the range that was given for the analyst estimates. Caterpillar was always the wild card for today. It was the hard one to figure out. They're basically guiding towards the lower end of the range. Two specific problems. One of them was very obvious, and that was China. The other is shale, and we weren't sure how shale was going to come out. If you look at their numbers, they had mining was a little better than expected, not great, but construction was okay. The energy business, because the shale business has slowed down, was down rather notably, and I think more than some people anticipated. So you have China. Who is good? Can you be an American company selling Caterpillar in China right now? It's tough. Look at the numbers here for their revenues by area. North America did fairly well. Europe, Africa, Middle East, pretty down a bit. That was a disappointment. And Asia Pacific down 8%. So there's the issue that you had there. Maybe a little worse than anticipated. But overall, this was about in line with what you expected for the China numbers. So again, this is the hard one to figure out. Caterpillar, a little bit more disappointing, but not a terrible big shot. I'm really happy about the semis. I mean, we're new highs everywhere. Historic highs on Texas Instruments. Lam Research, Micron's at a new high. Teradyne had terrific numbers today. That stock's at a new high. The SMH, which is getting huge volume. This is the semiconductor ETF. There's a lot of people playing this in the last few weeks. This is up 20%. And this is your proxy for global growth, essentially. In May, when we had all of the big concerns about the tariff issues, down 20%. Now tariff issues, more optimism on tariff issues, up 20%. So you can see that V shape that we've seen here. So overall, the bottom line was, remember a month ago we were here? I was getting, I call them 4 exclamation point emails saying, Pisani, they're going to drop the numbers in the second half. You're too bullish. You're not getting this. And that was the big worry. Yes, there's a few concerns, but overall, we're not seeing the wholesale downward revisions in the second half estimates so far. Now, it's still a little early. I know, Sarah, you're giving me that look over there, that butt look.
No, I have something to say.
Go ahead.
So I think for 2 reasons, based on what I've seen in some of the earnings, especially in the consumer names, which China's still strong if you're in the consumer business. I saw that yesterday in Coca-Cola. We saw that in places like Nike. I think Apple's going to be a little bit of a wild card on that one. So heavy machinery, bad. Consumer space, good in China. The other theme out there is that North America is coming in, I think, better than expected. Even those CAT numbers show that North America offset the decline.
Construction numbers were excellent in
Asia. And, you know, that was kind of a mystery. We've gotten some mixed messages on the economic data in the U.S., but it looks like companies are having a good operating environment, which just also leads you to wonder what all the angst is about over at the Fed and some people calling for recession.
What you're saying is things are really complicated. There's a lot of stuff to tease out. Then you got the dollar bulls that are out there saying, oh, this is impact. And we have seen some companies thought the impact of the dollar. That's your area. There is some kind of slowdown in Asia. Again, it depends, particularly if you're dealing with any kind of machinery or any kind of heavy equipment. And the consumer generally is slower but better than the industrial economy. And this all kind of makes some sense. The Coke numbers yesterday were fantastic overall. You covered that very well. So,
and the whole theme there was that the storm that Coke was expecting in terms of lower earnings guidance in the year never happened.
Right.
That things were looking better.
That was the best quote of the day from the CEO, that there are storm clouds on the horizon, but
the storm never came.
Yes, but the storm never came. Yeah.